This is not a YouTube set. Welcome to my office.
We already have the grid security issue where they can remote into it now. They have a stated thing. Everything that you've been saying, I've got about 70 different gears going on right now. Now, you're down there and you had sent me the shot of the Chinese buildings that are prefabs. That is a war camp. That is a staging thing for a war camp. Is that correct?
Built by American money. Mayorkas physically went to that camp, and I have footage that I shot of him in that camp. And April 18th, 2022. April 18th, 2022, I had waited for 4 days when I got word that Mayorkas was coming to Panama, and I was like, you know what? I bet he'll fly to Darien, and I predicted where he might land in Blackhawks. And I thought he'll go right down this road. And I waited there for 4 days. Sure enough, 4 Blackhawks come in, and he got out. They got in armored vehicles and drove right by me. And I got footage of him in the camp. And
Going to the
he
Chinese camp that is bringing
camp.
military men into my country. And we got Mayorkas bringing it in. You have all of this complacency going on, dude.
I'm getting angry. I mean,
I'm getting worked up, dude.
This is our money is building a Chinese camp. It's built a Chinese camp. The Chinese are invading the United States with American help. I mean, with Mayorkas is doing it, as is Biden and the rest. We are being invaded by our own people. We're going to be murdered. Murdered. I mean, dead. I don't mean economically murdered. I don't mean losing jobs. I mean, they're going to freaking kill us in large numbers. They'll easily shut the grid off. They'll easily poison the water. They've got tens of thousands at a minimum of military age males that recently came through just through the Darien Gap. That doesn't include the people that came up in Florida. That doesn't include the people that come over the Canadian border in increasing numbers. That doesn't include the ones who fly in and the ones who have come in on student visas and that sort of thing. We are absolutely flooded. It's easily believable that there are actually hundreds of thousands of new military age males in the United States. I do not know that to be true, but that would actually be I would actually be surprised if it's not. I mean, it's some huge number. These guys that are coming in, many of them are studs. I mean, they're not. We got a lot. I spend most of my time overseas, right? I spend most of my time in other countries. Like by far, more than half my life has been overseas, right?
Right.
And I come back to the United States. Like in the last 20 years, I was mostly downrange. And then I saw the United States look like we're going into a war. And so in 2020, September 2020, after almost 20 years, most of the time downrange, I came back to the United States. I went straight to Portland and looked at those Antifa monkeys down there, doing their thing. They're a bunch of drug addicts. I mean, with their hoop earrings and, I mean, seriously, they all got an IQ of about 90. They're easy to wind up. And so that's what they're winding up all these degenerates, basically. The drug. I come back to the United States and I can smell drugs everywhere. I can smell people smoking pot. I can see that they're not firing as fast as the China. When I'm in China, there's, you know what I'm saying? These guys coming across, they got testosterone going. All these Syrians, all these Afghans, all these others I see.
And if you don't think we have Houthis, we have all of these other coming in from Venezuela, because there's a lot of Houthis down in Venezuela.
Yeah. I hear a lot of, Venezuela is filled with Hezbollah, by the way. And you go to China, you should see how racist those guys are. They are ultra racist. I've never seen somebody so racist. And tell you what, I've been around this world. Racism is certainly endemic around the world, but China takes it to a whole Chinese level. China likes to do things big, including racism. And so they know they have to take out a critical mass of Caucasians. That'll leave the blacks and Hispanics naked. So they'll use them to kill us and these useful idiots coming through the border. And then they'll fight each other and they'll poison them off and kill them off. And they'll keep what they need. And then they'll be perfectly good, uneducated slaves.
Our leaders are in the World Economic Forum's grasp.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard, I have to go look it up, Michael, where I looked it up, but it was they signed off on like 82% of the U.S. to die. It was some horrible number like that.
Oh, on that website called yeah, I've seen that. I mean, I could believe it. I could clear. I've been warning about famine for 4 years, almost daily.
We've had what, 250 food processing plants blow up. Yeah, I mean, and just they don't self-combust. This is intentional.
You cut off the food supply, and it's not like, hey, we're going to make do this time. They're not. They're burning down the factories, and people are still smoking dope in America. And when I fly home and I get in the airport, I guarantee I'm going to smell dope on some of the young men's clothes. You know, I'm just like, you're just not warriors. You're just not. You know, that's part of the psychological warfare they've done on us. It's cool to be Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the doper header. You know what I'm saying? And we got all these guys that are like, yeah, it's cool to be a lazy turd. You know what I mean? And instead of being a man, you know, I can see the lower IQ when I come back to the United States. But I'm watching these guys come to the dairy, and I talk with them all the time. I'm like, man, some of these guys, they are not that. So these guys, they got testosterone going. They're clearly got some intellect going. And they got the eye of the tiger. They know that they're coming. Now, there's different ecosystems of people coming in. There's the Chinese, and even of the Chinese, there's different ecosystems. But some of them are clear military and intelligence. That's utterly obvious, right? Yeah. And I mean a lot, right?
I'm not even there, and I can see it. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the TV, and I'm like, that's military.
Trump, guess what? Trump is not going to come save you.
No,
Trump is not going to save you. He's not going to do it, period.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, you think that they're going to start a war with all the Second Amendment folks to try to bring in the UN in order to try to just...
You mean the UN? So, yeah, the UN, I mean, can easily just stack up a bunch of Chinese into the UN uniforms. Hey, the UN's here. Great, 100,000 UN here with helicopters, Blackhawks. They just went over to the, you know, I wonder how many Chinese now know how to fly our Blackhawks and how to fly our military aircraft, because they probably have been training on those things, right?
November of 2022, I was in Tijuana investigating a Muslims-only mosque and migrant shelter on the Tijuana side, just 2 blocks from the wall. And when I went in there and then met Tajikistanis and Uzbekistanis and Chechens and thousands from Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, places like Iran have been brought in by design, by purpose. The government knew that they were from Iran and brought them in with no vetting. Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, 24 different countries that where terrorist organizations operate. These people are known as special interest aliens. Nobody from those countries is supposed to come over that border without all of this screening. And from everything that I can tell, they are not doing the screening for the people that they're bringing in like this. This was before, like, several months before the administration even announced that, hey, now we're going to start bringing Haitians in on this thing.
Todd Benson's been on the show for 2 years, 3 years, telling you this is happening. Where are you guys? Cut the money off. Get these people up there, not just impeach them, they should be up for criminal charges. An invasion is going on in our country. You should move the Congress down to McAllen, frickin' Texas or Laredo and stay there until this invasion is stopped. Well, we passed H.R. 2, and H.R. 2 was the most thorough border security bill I ever signed. Nobody can. There's so many laws that they're breaking right now. You're going to add in another 100 laws that they can break? In these terrorist countries, the very ones that Donald J. Trump designated to say, hey, how about this? How about let's not even let them come over here and visit? Not even come into the country. We won't even let them come and visit. Because Trump was concerned about the safety of his country and his citizens. And they tried to crucify him for that.
We had another piece that came out of this, which showed that the administration has allowed travel authorizations for more than 220,000 immigrants to fly directly from their home countries into 43 U.S. airports.
This is coordinated and well thought through. This is why it's just not enough to impeach them. They got to be held to criminal charges. The people that did this to our country must be held to criminal charges. This is treason. This is an active, well thought through and financed by you invasion of our beloved republic. Full freaking stop.
If this warning doesn't send shockwaves through your body, I don't know what will.
Packs of Chinese males of military age, unattached to family groups, pretending not to speak English. These are probably saboteurs who are coming in on the first day of war with Asia. In Asia, I think that we're going to see acts of sabotage, assassinations, detonation of bombs, starting wildfires, and the Biden administration is paying no attention to this.
Just a real quick stupid question. Do you honestly believe that the Biden administration doesn't know what's happening in our southern border? Do you honestly think that they don't know? Okay, well, with that said, look at this article written by the Gatestone Institute International Policy Council. Written by Gordon G. Chang. There is now a Chinese invasion in the U.S. homeland. You can go look at this article. There is now China's shock troops. The concern is that on the first day of the war in Asia, they will take down America's power lines, poison reservoirs, assassinate officials, start wildfires, spread pathogens, and create terror by bombing shopping malls and supermarkets. The next war in Asia will almost certainly be fought in U.S. soil. Perhaps on the first day, unsuspected Americans will be in the fight. Are you kidding me? They're literally like putting this in our faces and we're still asleep. It's no longer a conspiracy theory, there's proof.
Wake up, Laodicean Christians. You are not going to get a mansion here on earth, and there is no pre-trib rapture. Even if the rapture were pre-trib, Laodiceans are not going in the rapture. Repent now before it is too late. War is coming.
Eyes open. No fear. Be safe, everyone.